Yo, it's week 7. I'm so glad that we've made it. We're still alive. We're still winning. We've been through so much over the last 7 weeks, and it's not over. Yeah, just because you've released your product into the world, it's definitely not over. In fact, it's just the beginning. And this week 7, is all about keeping that momentum and growing that energy. So literally, you are a fireball spinning, and you're growing your energy so much, and you're pulling all sorts of things to you. Yeah, people are gravitating toward you. You're magnetic, and you want to keep that magnetism growing. So if you have just released something, no matter how it went, no matter whether you didn't get a huge reach or high engagement, whatever happened, keep the state of gratitude, keep that state of appreciation for however many people you did reach, whether it was 5 million or 5, it doesn't matter. You got to stay in that state of appreciation so that can grow. So week 7, it's about momentum. It's about continuing. So once you've done the release, how do you then keep that momentum? How do you keep building your following? How do you keep building your tribe? Whatever you call your fans, I call mine fams. Some people call them, Lady Gaga calls hers little monsters. Whatever you call your tribe, your following, your people, how are you going to keep pulling them into you? So in the book, The Art of Asking, which I highly recommend reading, it's by Amanda Palmer. She talks about this idea of casting out a net, yeah? And so we can cast out a net when we, let's say we perform at a festival, right? That's casting out a net. Maybe 1,000 people saw you perform at that festival. Or maybe when you released your single and you targeted it to all of Beyonce's fans, you casted out a net, right? However, out of the fish that got into your net, a lot of them are going to kind of swim out. A lot of them are gonna, fall through the cracks. You've got to tighten that net, yeah? So momentum is all about continuing to engage with whoever has seen you, whoever has come into your world or you've gone out into their world. You need to continue that engagement and turn them into fans. Because if you put out a video and you got 100,000 views on that video, out of those 100,000 views, maybe you got 168 shares. So if someone shared it, you've got to then go and thank them. You've got to go build that relationship with them. Yeah, and this is how you convert just views into actual fans, into people who want you to do well. They want to support you. They want to buy your stuff. They want to, share your music with other people. So you can build that relationship. And this is the week that we start looking at that. So momentum is not just in terms of building your fan base, that is a part of it, but it's also the business momentum. So remembering we're not just creatives, we're not just artists, we're not just here to pour our hearts out onto the page or onto the or in the studio, but we're also here to build a profile for yourself and build a business that is actually going to sustain your career so that you can live a really great, abundant life. And you need money to do that. So when it comes to momentum, it's also things like doing your numbers, reviewing how much did I spend on Facebook ads, what worked, what didn't, which ones went really well, which one doesn't, and which one didn't. And it's really important that you take responsibility as an independent artist for the whole of your business, for the whole of whatever it is that you're doing. When you eventually get to the point where you need a manager, where you need a team, maybe you get signed, whatever it is, you're still going to need to be the boss. Just remember that no matter who comes and works with you, you're the boss. It's you are the brand. Your music is the product. So you have to really ensure that you're taking the lead here. And all of your fans, they love you because of you. They don't love you because of your manager or because of your booking agent or any of that stuff. They love you because of you. And it's up to you to continue to build that relationship. So a few things that are really, really important at this stage is really engaging with your mailing list. So if you haven't already created one, I highly recommend doing that now. You can get a free account through MailChimp. It's super cheap. And that just means that you can start adding people to your mailing list. So the next time you have a gig coming up, or even if you just want to say something, you can engage with them. You're bringing them closer and closer into a relationship with you. Another thing is, anytime anyone comments on anything that you put up, reply to that person. Don't just like it, but actually reply. One is you're honoring the attention that they've given you. But the second thing is also you're building momentum, because the algorithms work like that. So if someone comments and you comment back, it's going to show up on their feed. Their friends are going to see it. They might add into the discussion and it ripples on in that way. Similarly, when you've put your video out, let's say you've got 168 likes, you click on the likes and it'll give you a list of all the people that liked it, and then you can invite them all to like your page. Not all of them are going to say yes, but a lot of them will, and that's how you start growing your page exponentially. You might also want to look at creating business cards for yourself at this stage. You know, that's something that you can keep with you. So whenever you're out at networking events, you're handing your business cards out. So anything that you can do which is going to maintain and add momentum to what you're doing is really important, especially in the in-between phases. So if you've push something out, you've done that cycle, you've done that phase, and you've reviewed what worked in that release, then in the interim, before you release your next thing, you want to keep up that engagement with your fans. You want to keep sharing parts of yourself. Now, it's up to you what you choose to share and what you choose to not share. Of course, you don't have to share everything, but just remember, the more vulnerable you are with people, the more they can relate to you, the more they can connect to you. So the more you let them into your world, the more they're going to feel like they're part of your world. And then the next time you need them to support you, they'll be there for you. So keeping high engagement requires for you to actually respond to every single message, every single comment, every single share. You need to appreciate that and grow that. It also requires you posting regularly. So whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, on your mailing list, have a schedule for yourself. Write it out. Maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe it's 2:00 every day. Like whatever the times are that you've noticed gets high engagement, just set a schedule and just be like, cool, your alarm goes off, I need to do a Facebook Live. And then, you go and do that. And then anyone who comments, again, you reply and you continue that. It might be that every Friday at, 4:30, you do your mailing list, you post that out, and maybe people read it when they're on the way home from work or whatever it is. So regular on-brand posts. And also visual posts are really important because they get really high engagement as well. So have a mix, have like Facebook Lives, have like snippets of you writing on things, have like rants, you can have your opinion pieces, you can have your share vulnerably posts. There's all sorts of things that you can post about. I'm going to also give you a template, all of these different ideas that you can use to post regularly on your social mediums, sharing yourself. And then on the other side is measuring your business and personal stats. Yeah. So your statistics. So what is working for you, what's not. So I'm also going to give you a way to review what's happening in your life and what's working. So you're going to have that template as well. This is something that I myself have been implementing now for a good, over a year. Every week on a Sunday, I do a weekly review. So there's questions in there that's like, cool, what are the top 5 successes for this week? And that makes me go look back over the last week and go, okay, cool. Well, I did this and I did that. And it gives me like a spike of goodness. It's like, yeah, I actually did great this week. Even if it was a crappy week, just by me looking for what was really great, that's going to put me in a better state of mind. So 5 successes. And then it might be, cool, what is the thing you're most grateful for from the last week? It might be that. And then it could be like a question, and you can create your own template. I'll give you one, but you can add to it. It could be, what are your KPIs? So that stands for key performance indicators. So in finances, how well did you do out of 10 in financially? How well did you do mentally that week? How well did you do spiritually that week? How well did you go in terms of your health and fitness? Yeah. So how well did you go in your relationships? And that way you've got like a really holistic overview of how successful that week was for you. And then asking yourself to improve for the next week, what are the 3 things I need to focus on most for next week? What's the most important thing? What's the one thing that I really need to change if I want a better week next week? Yeah, so journaling and reviewing is probably for me one of the most powerful exercises that allows me to stay mentally healthy, let's call it that, emotionally healthy, because you know, it's very easy to think you've had a crap week if you're just focusing on the last bad thing that happened. Yeah. Mentally, you've got a shit bin and a good bin. You know, there's the shit that happens and there's the good that happens. But if you can train yourself to have like a really balanced view of what's happening, and also remember that you can always change how things go, that you're in control, and that is going to enable you to be in the mindset and the emotional state you need to be in to keep improving and keep growing that momentum. So when something bad happens, it's never like, oh God, so terrible. It's just like, okay, look at that situation. What about it is wrong or is not happening the way you want it to happen? How can you improve it? How can you learn from this? How can you take actions to do better the next time? And if you train yourself to think that way, you're going to keep up that momentum and nothing can squash you down. So it's not even just falling, getting back up. It's just like, oh, cool. All right, that's a situation. I'm going to continue. You just continue growing that momentum.